Man United are back! Oh no, wait, they've just fired another manager, which means it's going to be hard to work out which players they should sign to get even better, because we don't know which specific players the manager will want, or who the manager will even be, or the head coach. But luckily for you, we've done it anyway. Welcome to Sensible Transfers, where we look for weaknesses in squads and then identify solutions to those problems. It's not what we think they will do, it's what we think they maybe should do. But as discussed, it's going to be difficult to do that because we don't know who the manager is. And as we all know, Man United are in an awful mess right now, aren't they? Or are they? Because it turns out that Ruben Amorim was fired just as United were getting a lot better. They were bad, then they improved. And in fact, right now at the time of recording, they are 7th in the table with the 2nd highest expected goals, and they are underperforming on expected goals against, which implies that over a season that should level out and they should be even better than they are at the moment. So they were bad, they got good, then they got rid of Ruben Amorim, and now we have this squad. We don't know what the manager wants to do with it, but we can make some assumptions, because when we look at this, it's clearly very light in central midfield. That's an obvious point that we need to address. And they also got rid of all their wingers. There's no left-sided winger, so no one to play on this wide area here. Mount's more of a midfielder. Cunha probably wants to play more central as well, so that's an issue too. But also there's no real competition for Benjamin Sesko. He's the only out-and-out number 9 in that entire squad, which is something they should probably address. I think in defence they're okay. They've got enough to play a back 4, which is what we think they'll do going forward. But the first area of focus has to be in central midfield. Now Casemiro, even though the football has left him, has been okay this season. He's been alright, his progressive passes are okay, his defensive numbers are very good too, but he's the only real holding defensive player that's going to be there. Manuel Ugarte maybe isn't quite all it. And you can see that Casemiro's defensive actions are in these sorts of positions. So what we need is a player who's probably going to replace Casemiro in the long term. We don't know if he'll be there after the summer. Someone who can make progressive passes from deep, someone who can make defensive actions, someone who's solid and can hold that midfield position. And the most obvious candidate for this role for Man United, can't think of anyone better than Elliot Anderson. He has the most progressive passes of any player in the league, in fact the top 5 European leagues. He's made more ball recoveries than any player in the league by miles. He does everything. And his FPRF profile looks pretty impressive. He is the player they should get. But because of how good he is, he's going to cost a lot of money. Nottingham Forest won't want to sell him for cheap. So we need to find someone else. Maybe someone more affordable, more sensible. And so, how about a player who knows the club inside out? It's James Garner of Everton. He came through the Man United youth system, had to go away to try and make his career, and now he's become a top-level Premier League player, or at least an upper mid-level Premier League player. Now, his numbers look kind of decent, that's what you get. Lots of defensive actions. He's a holding midfield player who can play a pass. And I can show you an example of what I mean by that. Here's Jack Grealish playing left, he passes inside to Garner. Garner looks up, the obvious pass is into this lane here, but it's hard to make that pass. Garner waits it perfectly right into Grealish's path and he can put it across the box for something else to happen in the next phase of play. And the reason it's sensible is he has about 18 months left in his contract, should be affordable. He's an all-rounder, he can play at full-back as well. The kind of player you want in your squad. He might not be the elite level that'll take them to the next, you're not going to heighten the ceiling, but he's a kind of all-round player who would definitely be decent for a Man United midfield. Because the problem with this is, again, we don't know who the manager is, what they really want from their midfield profiles, but also the money they have in January is not going to be an awful lot. And players like Carlos Baleba, who are the elite level, who take them to the next level, to heighten the ceiling, they're going to be too expensive. Baleba is definitely an option. Adam Wharton's another one. Maybe not as strong defensively, maybe hasn't got quite the holding, break-up play stuff that you want in that midfield too, but an elite level option. But again, it's not sensible, so we need to find someone who fits the midfield role and the affordability. And I think Ederson of Atalanta could be an option. He would drop into here into this midfield role. Now, he's not a holding midfield player as much as he's a box-to-box player who can break up play. He's very energetic, will get up and down, but crucially, when this player pushes up to maybe overlap Cunha, he's the kind of player who'll drop in here, build play from the back. He's done that for Atalanta for a long time. But oddly, he hasn't really broken into the Brazil team until roundabout now, and he hasn't made the big move yet. Not really sure why that is. I think he's a good option for a sensible midfield Man United player. But this is Manchester United Football Club. What we need is someone for the future. A young player who could be the potential superstar of the next 5-10 years. And I think I found him. And when I say found, it wasn't hard because he's kind of everywhere at the moment. It's Ayoub Bouadi of Lille. This guy is a superstar. Let me show you why. Because when you look at his FPRF profile, what you see is progressive passes are a lot lower than you'd probably want from a Man United midfielder. He's meant to be the holding player, but he gets forward quite a bit. But what we see from Bouadi is elite level reading of the game already. This is an under-21s match, so a bit of context here, but Bouadi's chasing down the ball, he's been pushed to the wing, the ball goes back to the fullback. Now, Bouadi immediately doesn't stand still, he starts getting back into the position to try and win the ball back. The fullback could probably hit it, a channel ball or play it short to the player on the wing. Instead, Bouadi is anticipating that this ball is going to come inside. It does, he reads it, wins onto the ball, immediately pushes forward. This is what he does every single time. He pushes forward with the ball, carries it, and this is just a slip through ball to get in. but he misplaces it, overweights the pass, and it's gone. This is the kind of thing young players do. They're inconsistent, so maybe he's not ready yet. But he might also be, because here's another example. This is Lille against Toulouse. Now, the play is going from right to left, as this big yellow arrow tells you. There's a bit of a stramash in the middle. The ball is lost, it turns over. Bouhaddi reads it, he's in the right position. This is a 50-50, or maybe probably I would say a 70-30 in his favor, but a little little double touch to go past the defender. Lovely stuff. He's gone out of the game. Bouhaddi keeps going, spots the through pass and pings it perfectly into the striker, who gets in, and just to give you closure, yes, he does finish that with a lovely little dink over the keeper. But there's more. Here is him defending at a corner. He's tall at the back post. United need physicality, they need height, they need strength. This is what you get. So the ball comes in from the corner. I think he wins the header here, pushes it forward, and then immediately chases it out. And he gets to the 50-50 at the edge of the box, wins that ball, it kind of bounces around a little bit, he has to try and readjust himself. He does that and then just flicks it with the back heel and immediately pushes forward. He gets wide, the ball ends up with him, and eventually he ends up shielding a bouncing ball from the defender. He's tall, he's 18, but he's got the strength and the balance and the height to be able to do this. But he's maybe not the finished article yet. Here's an example of what might be a mistake on his behalf, might be a structural issue, because what you have here are Lille defending in the back four. You can see this player here has been dragged out by this player here, which means there was a big amount of space in here for this player to run in behind. So if they can get the ball from this lad at the very back into that space, then Lille will be in trouble. And as you can see, Bouhaddi's maybe not aware of what's going on just yet. The striker's about to run in behind. Now, Bouhaddi has to correct. He starts to see it now and then starts to accelerate to try and make up the space, because this is a bit of a danger problem. Teammate has to come across to try and win the header. Bouhaddi is tall, he manages to win the header anyway, but this is the kind of thing where you can get punished if you're not reading the play. We saw an example of Burnley versus Manchester United on the night before we recorded this, where Casemiro didn't track his man just for 1 second, which led to the own goal that Heaven put in his own net. The kind of thing where you have to be switched on all the time. And sometimes young players don't do that. So although he's not perfect just yet, I think he could be an elite player in the future. So if United sign the sensible elite option first, someone like Elliot Anderson to patrol the midfield area, then you bring Bouhaddi in as someone who can learn off others and eventually be that second midfielder, that's a good team for me. Which brings me on to the next part of the team we need to address. Bring Marcus Rashford back, maybe, maybe not. What they need is a left winger. And the first player I have to put in this position is a future wonder kid, maybe is a wonder star right now for Juventus, Kenan Yildiz. Now the thing with Yildiz is that for Turkey he plays left wing and he kind of is a winger, but for Juventus he's been playing an awful lot up front as part of a 3-5-2 formation. But you see his numbers are what you want from a winger. And in fact, you can see his attempted take-ons are mostly on the left wing. He's still playing an awful lot on the left-hand side, because that's what he is. He's right-footed, can cut inside. And what United need, I think, is someone who can take someone on the outside and still get in to be a goal threat, which is what you see from him. It's one small example of him taking on the fullback against Parma. Here he is, the fullback comes on to take him on. Slows himself down, tricks him, disguises with a Cruyff turn in behind and pings the ball into the box for a goal. The kind of thing I think United could really do with. They have players who want to play only inside. Yildiz can do a bit of both. And his ceiling is really high, just like another player I want to recommend, which is Malik Fofana. Now Fofana is more of an outside winger, I would say. He plays for Lyon, he's been there since 2024. He's very, very good and very quick. And you can see this example of one of his wing plays. Plays the ball inside, little 1-2, gets in behind and immediately pings the ball as a cutback to the striker who finishes. Again, United could do with this kind of outside left player. They sold Garnacho, they don't have Rashford. That's the profile they're missing on that side, especially if they are going to go back to a 4-2-3-1. And that is part of the problem with the profile of the squad they have at the moment. There's none of this outside wingers who can take the ball down here. Cunha wants to play mostly inside. He can even play as a striker if you want him to. And so with this kind of player, it gives you more tactical options. It means you don't have to have the left back overlapping. You can go to a situational back three, something like that, push the right back up. This is what they should do. But something else they should do is bring in, I think, another striker to challenge Seško for a starting place, but also someone whose hold-up play is a bit stronger. Someone they can ping the ball into, can hold it, bring others into play, and they go from there. And my sensible choice for this position is someone about to be relegated. It's Jørgen Strand Larsen of Wolves and Norway, who won't be relegated. But let me show you why I think he's best. Now here's an example. The player on the ball wants to be able to fire into this position here. That's where all the space is. So a striker needs to drop in from this position. And that is exactly what Strand Larsen does in this position. He drops in, the ball is fired into him. Great first touch to control, takes it on the turn and immediately fires it through to a player who gets in behind and scores. That's an assist from Strand Larsen. The kind of thing you want, the striker dropping in, holding up play, bringing others into play. And this kind of link-up play is what I think United could really benefit from. Someone they can ping it into, like I said, can bring others into play, that's what you want. But they have to be able to score too. And Strand Larsen has only scored one this season, which isn't very good. Season before that, he scored many goals, which is good. But it's how he gets the chances that's important, because Wolves aren't creating that much. That's the problem they've got. Now, Strand Larsen is the number 9 here. The ball is on the right-hand side, as you can see here. It's going to go out to the winger. Now, if the winger can get the ball across the defenders like this, that is a great position to be in to attack and get a shot away. But the winger takes too long to get the ball into the box, and so he has to readjust. And so what he does is time his run across the defender so that when it comes across the near post, he is in front of the defender to get a shot away. And that is what good goal scorers do. They get chances when you think the defender should probably win the ball. But Strand Larsen is more than just a hold-up player and a box crasher or a poacher. He's also really good with the ball, and here's him playing for Norway against Italy, taking on a defender, shows him right, shows him left, cuts inside, left foot finish to put them 4-1 up. He's got everything United could probably do with in a striker, and because Wolves are more than likely going down, would probably be available for a price that would seem sensible. But there's just one more option, and it's someone they've been linked with an awful lot. I think it's sensible. Jean-Philippe Mateta. Now, his hold-up play isn't quite as good as Strand Larsen, I would say. His first touch isn't always the best, but he can hold it up, and he's a big lad. He can hold defenders off and bring others into play. We've seen him do it for Crystal Palace an awful lot, as well as running behind. He's a good level striker who could challenge for a place in the starting 11. But what you get from Jean-Philippe Mateta is high expected goals. He gets chances that other strikers just don't get, and that's a result of him being in the right place at the right time. It's all about timing, it's all about seeing where to be, manipulating defenders. That's the kind of thing United could really do with. And so, this is what I think United's sensible transfers could look like, or maybe should look like. They don't have much money to spend in January, it'll be more likely to be done in the summer, but something like this. Midfield has to be addressed. The winger situation is not exactly what they have to do straight away. They have Cunha here, but that needs an attacking left back. They have Shaw, they have Dorgu. I think Kobe Mainoo is more of an advanced player, probably more likely to play in these positions here, but in a midfield too, for now, he's absolutely fine next to another midfielder. But that midfielder is the one they have to prioritise, and Strand Larsen as a striker would give them options, let Seško rest, and develop without the pressure that comes with being a Man United number 9. That's what I think I would do. Tell me what you think in the very kind comment section. See you later.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Amy Lawrence, and James Horncastle. With the latest transfer news and insights on every Premier League story that matters, theathletic.com puts you inside football, and you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.